Oh, I can already tell the camera's gonna be a pain in the ass today because it's so cold out. Actually, it's not overly that cold out, but it's already thrown a hissy fit on me. But anyway, finally gonna get to spreading lime today. I gotta take a, we'll have to take a break about 2 o'clock this afternoon because I got something I gotta go do, and then we'll probably have enough time to come back and spread one more load. But anyhow, I hate not having anything, like having to jump into a project, because it took me almost 2 hours this morning to get everything ready to roll. Had to get the T over here, get the 540 shaft put in it, get the drawbar slid out, get the spreader hooked up, grease the spreader, check the tires, check the gearboxes, go through all that crap, get the 1600 fueled up, get the bucket on it. By the time I got all that done, it burned up 2 hours, so we'll get done what we get done. But luckily it got cold enough last night, it kind of put a little bit of a crust on the ground. So I think before we lose that, first field I'm going to go spread is the wet one, and hopefully we won't have any issues, but we shall see. Naturally the lime pile's a little froze too, so it's going to be kind of hard digging, but we'll do what we can. Call that a load. Since it's borrowed, I don't want to get it too ungodly heavy. I probably could get one more bucket load in there, but we're also going to a wet field, so ain't no sense in getting it super duper heavy. So anyhow, onwards and upwards. Okay, so take this guy off. Probably just throw this under the seat. Ain't no sense in having to take it off and put it back on every single time for the short jaunts I'm making. And he said, unfortunately, that the rate chart has gone off of this thing, but he said that 3 1/4 is about a ton an acre. So double of that's going to be 6 1/2. So what would that be? About 4 3/4? No. Hold on. fractions in my head, I have a hard time keeping track of the numbers. So 6.5 divided by 2. Oh wait, no, I need the difference between that. So 3 point, and then divide that by 2, and then plus. So yeah, about 4 3/4. So I think I'm gonna go. That's a little sticky. Everything on this thing is a little sticky. We'll go about 4 1/2. The last thing this spreader did this summer was spread chicken litter. I guess a guy borrowed it to do that, and I guess it didn't really necessarily get cleaned up all that great afterwards. So if weather permits, before I take it back, I'm going to try to give it a bath because it sorely needs it. Now I got to make sure I got my lever hooked up right. That should be... That's gonna be bass backwards. kind of worried about how well it's going to spread since it was so chunky. That's so fuck. boy. This might be over before it began. That's not good. All right, I got it empty. It was a chore. Dad brought me a shovel and I tried shoveling a little bit and spreading, and that didn't work, and tried that twice, and eventually just came to Dad, rode in the spreader for about half the load and knocked it down onto the web, and then it started feeding on its own. Didn't show that on camera because that's not something Ocean needs to see. But anyhow, try one more load, and I'm not gonna load it as heavy. I'm gonna see if I can do a better job of busting up them chunks, and I guess we'll just have to see how it works. All right, I got this second load spread out. It went a lot better. I didn't video it because I just had an accident. The cop is actually still sitting up there on the other side of the apple trees. I was coming down the road, getting ready to turn in the driveway there. There wasn't a single car coming for as far as I could see in front of me, and I couldn't see anything behind me because of the spreader. So I got all the way over. I had the center of the tractor on the center lane, so there wasn't a whole lot of lane for anybody to try to pass me from behind. And I get to the driveway and I start to make my turn, and next thing I know, this SUV comes hauling ass next to me, bounces off the dual, bounces off the front tire, and goes in the ditch. Some old guy. So that was interesting, but somehow did not hurt the tractor. There's a little doink in my front rim, but other than that, and it's not even so bad that I'm probably gonna worry about fixing it anytime soon. Probably double check my toe in, make sure nothing happened, but if it didn't hurt the rim, I doubt it did anything to anything else. So, but anyway, I guess we can go back and grab another load. about half a load left. I had a little bit left at Rolling Rock, that first field I was at. I basically had a round left I had to finish up there, and then I just went and did my Grandma Brewer's little 2-acre piece. And now we got to do this one, but this will probably be the last load. I got enough daylight to spread with everything that's happened today, so we'll get this spread out and then wrap it up.
I'll be able to pick up my tire tracks tomorrow. If I can find a stick or something to sit there and kind of indicate where I ran out. That looks like a stick. Should need somewhere in the neighborhood of 5 to 6 loads out here, but I'm not actually sure how many ton that spreader is. That box kind of deceiving because the spreader's tall, but the box isn't very big. Okay, where did... Yeah, looks like somewhere in here. Starts to thin out a little bit. There. Alright, I'm gonna head back to the house and park this thing because I've had it for the day, and we will discuss the events. Alright, I'll park it back here. This time of year I like to keep them back behind the barn so it's kind of a nice wind break. That way they don't get super chilled if it gets windy. What a day. I almost stopped spreading after that first load got stuck because I was worried that if the first one got stuck, they were going to keep getting stuck. But apparently, there was just enough chunks in that first load
because after the second load and that third load, it spread like fine, not a single problem. And when I first got started, those piles were crusted over, and there was a crust about yay thick on top of them, which is where the chunks were coming from. And it was still nice and fluffy underneath, because the lime's actually honestly not that wet. It must have got that crust on it, and then it started shedding water after that. But because it's dry enough that obviously you can see it was making dust in the spreader. But apparently them chunks just bridged up in there enough on that first load, it wouldn't let it flow out. And after that, the second load, I would back drag the top of the pile off with the bucket and grind the chunks out, and so it didn't end up with any chunks in it. So it's probably one of them came in by noon. The frost had come out of it and it was just breaking up on its own. So the last load I didn't even have to do that. But I guess that was just a case of it didn't really pay to try to get started that early, because it screwed the lime pile up. But now that I know what to look for. And then that accident, I tell you what, that was stupid. So I'm heading down the road, okay? This is we're going down the road. And where I'm at, you can probably see 3/4 of a mile down the road to the top of the hill for oncoming traffic, and there was nothing. And I looked back behind me, couldn't see nothing, because obviously the spreader's a damn blind spot, and there was a hump in it, a hump in the middle of it from the pile. Couldn't see over that. But what I could see back over the hump, there was nothing behind me. So I slowed way down, because you're about to make a damn 90-degree turn with a full spreader off of the road. You don't want the spreader to keep trying to go straight and jackknife. So I'm slowed way the hell down, and I sneak over all the way on the center. I bet the center line of the road is right here. So at most you got 5 foot of open lane at maximum, because you know the duals are taking up half the oncoming lane, because that's what you do when you're running a piece of farm equipment. And if you're planning on making a turn, is even if you got turn signals, if you're planning on making a turn, you fucking sneak over onto the other side of the road to block the road from people behind you, so they know, hey, you're turning, don't try to pass me, you idiot. Well, apparently this guy just didn't get the hint, and I had just barely started my turn, because I was almost still straight in the road. That tells you how damn close he was to me. And he must have caught my dual like right about here, because it made enough passes down the side of his SUV that it had like 6 or 7 like scuff marks going down the side of it from the lugs rubbing on the side of it. Bounced off my dual, came around and clipped the front tire, which is where that little doink right there came from. And must have rubbed a little bit, because there's tire mark right here. And then it slipped this bolt, or this pinch bolt, in the slot that's milled in the outer tie rod, so it screwed my toe in a little bit, but it didn't bend the tie rod, didn't break nothing. So I basically took it apart, slipped it back where it belonged, and it's fine. So that's all that happened to me. He screwed the hell out of his SUV. The whole passenger side, ripped all the trim off of it, caved both doors in. And then he bounced off of me, went down in the ditch and hit a tree, a bush, and a telephone pole, and proceeded to take all the trim off of his driver's side. And this dude was old. I mean, like, he looked like he came over on the Santa Maria with Columbus. Had this little ankle biter dog in there with him. I don't know if it had anything to do with it, but I told the cop what had happened, just like I told you. I said I was on the damn center line, so I was taking up damn near the whole road. And then he goes over to the guy, and the guy tells him his version of the story. And he said there was no, first thing he said, and there were several things that told me that he just flat out wasn't paying any damn attention, or he was too blind to see because of old age. Two things, or several things. First thing, the very first thing out of his mouth, he said there was no indication of a slow moving vehicle.
So apparently this orange and red triangle, although this one's slightly faded, but still very, very, very easily visible, apparently that thing means nothing anymore. Apparently that SMV triangle does not mean slow moving vehicle. It just means, hey, I'm a triangle. He said there's no indication of a slow moving vehicle, so that meant nothing. And if that didn't mean anything, the fact that the duals of the tractor are sticking out of 2 foot past either side of the spreader, so you can clearly see, hey, this spreader's hooked up to a tractor. Sorry, I'm getting worked up. He said that, and then he said there was no indication of a turn. So apparently the fact that I was riding on the center line, taking up the whole damn road, meant nothing. And then here's the other thing that got me. He hit me at speed. Like, he probably hit me somewhere between 35 and 40 mile an hour. Like, he was moving. So it's not even like he got up behind me, slowed down to my speed to get any sort of situational awareness of what was going on, and then tried to accelerate around me. He came hauling ass up behind me and just tried to flat out pass me without slowing down, doing anything. So he didn't even know what the hell was going on, literally. Just fucking stupid. People act like they're in such a goddamn hurry, and I don't know why. Can't wait 5 fucking minutes for I'm getting really worked up because this just, the way farm equipment is treated on the road by regular traffic just pisses me off to no end. Like, these people don't realize that they are way more of an inconvenience to us than we will ever be to the 5 to 10 minutes we take up their life, because we have to deal with them bastards every time we move to a field, and they might see us once a damn day. Like, we have nowhere to go. We are wide, we are slow, we can't maneuver, we're dodging in and out of mailboxes, telephone poles, driveways, other traffic, trees, just... I'm getting worked up. I'm getting worked up. And then I'm not going to say that it's never the equipment operator's fault. There are cases where shit has happened and it's completely been on the equipment operator's fault. But I will guarantee you that 80% of the time, it is the driver of the vehicle, other vehicle's fault for flat out not paying attention, being in a damn hurry, just not getting any situational awareness of what's going on. And they can say, oh, you didn't have turn signals, you didn't have lights, yada, yada, yada. It doesn't matter. They don't pay attention anyway. Case in point. Would have been 3 or 4 years ago now. It was the night that I wrecked. It was the night that I got hit pulling the stock chopper with this thing. This tractor's getting a damn criminal record. This is the second time it's been in an accident. That night, I was the 4th equipment hit that night. There was me, and there was 3 combines got hit that night. One of them was a friend of ours. At the time, the combine might have been 2 years old. Big case axial flow, newer. It was only like a year or 2 old at the time. It might have not even been a full year. That might have been the first season they ran it. I think, if I remember right, that was the first season they ran that combine. I think it was actually brand new. Combine. Modern combines are as big as a damn house and lit up like a carnival. They have more flashing lights, strobe lights, turn signals, you name it. If it's on there to get somebody's attention, DOT tape, whatever, if it's on there, they put it on there. Okay? He's driving down the road. It's dusk, probably about this time of night. Not super duper dark yet. This chick in this car ass packs right smack into the center of that combine, right underneath the chopper, buries it into the rear axle of the combine. Obviously from the back, ran right smack into him at 60 mile an hour. So you got a combine traveling 20, 25 mile an hour. She hits this, basically she smacks into him at 45 mile an hour, basically. This time there's a witness. There's another person driving in a car behind, or driving a car a little bit behind her.
Mind you, his combine, he's off the road as far as he can get. He's on the berm. It's not like, I mean, he's over far enough that oncoming traffic is clear to drive right past him. This chick, or I think it was another woman in the car behind this girl that hit the combine, told the cop, she said, I watched the entire thing. No brake lights ever came on. She never tried to avoid the accident. She said it was almost like she literally steered right smack into the center of that combine. And it was lit up like the 4th of July. It's just, it's stupid how people act around this stuff. Like, they honestly, do they not have any regard for their, I'm getting worked up. Ooh. And then they try to make it out like it's our damn fault for trying to do our damn job. Just. So anyhow, I was not found at fault. The cop was actually more. I don't know if pissed is the right word, but super annoyed with the old guy because all he had was a driver's license. He didn't have proof of insurance or registration because he told the cop that they were both sitting at home on the table. But his car was still drivable, although it's pretty bad. It's pretty smashed up. So, because he drove it home, and I don't know. Either way, I wasn't at fault. Cop agreed with me. Ironically, it was the same damn cop that came to my truck accident 4 weeks ago, whenever it was. Because he came up and he's like, don't I know you from somewhere? And I looked at him, I was like, I think you're the same cop that came in my truck, or came when I smoked that manhole cover with my truck. He said, yep, that's it. Said, I've been having a bad month. He says, yeah. And then after it was all said and done, he gave me my stuff and was walking away, and I told him, yeah, we need to quit meeting like this. And he kind of turns around and laughs and grins and says, yeah, just please try to make it through the end of next month. So have to put him on the Christmas card list apparently. But anyhow, luckily none of the equipment got hurt. Could have been a lot worse. Didn't need to happen at all if the jackass would have just, treated it like a piece of farm equipment. I need to quit talking about it because it's just going to keep making me more pissed off. So anyhow, everything is at least set up to rock and roll. So tomorrow the weather's supposed to be decent. It's just supposed to be cloudy. It's actually supposed to be warmer than it was today, but just cloudy. So should be able to hit it tomorrow after work and hopefully knock my uncle's field out. We'll see. Daylight's kind of at a premium this time of year, so don't know what I'll have enough daylight because you can't really spread in the dark without a light bar. So anyhow, I guess that's it for this one. We'll catch you guys on the next one.